We're going to talk about muhurtas, or electional astrology. Good times to get nature's support in starting a business, taking a wedding vow, uh, putting on a gemstone or a kavash, start writing a book or starting a business. This is an example of a muhurta for taking wedding vows. Uh, and we follow this kind of simple set of questions when we're looking for a muhurta. We want to pick an ascendant that has the fewest functional malefics. For example, Gemini has the fewest functional malefics. It only has Rahu and Ketu. No other functional malefics. Um, no planets ruling the no muhurta1 planets ruling the 6th, 8th, or the 12th house. Other good uh, ascendants are Aries, Libra, Sagittarius, and Leo. They all have three functional malefics. And then Cancer, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Cancer have four functional malefics, and we definitely want to avoid, if we can, Pisces, Virgo, and Taurus, which have five functional malefics. So the second thing we want to do is try to find, if it's possible, no planets in the 6th, the 8th, or the 12th house, because they automatically become weak. Then we want to make sure that Rahu and Ketu are not within 5 degrees of the ascendant. The ascendant here is 18 degrees, and Rahu and Ketu are at 4 degrees. So they're, you know, they're quite a few degrees apart, basically about 14 degrees apart. Then we want to make sure that none of the, none of the functional malefics are within 5 degrees. So we don't have to worry about that with Gemini. It's only Rahu and Ketu. And then we want to make sure that the house ruler or the main planets that we're concerned about for like say a wedding, you would want to consider, the ruler of the 7th house, which is Jupiter. If they're close to the most effective point or the ascendant degree, that gives them a lot of power. So this would be excellent for a wedding, taking time for taking wedding vows. You also want to check the dasha period. And here we're 2014. Let's see here. The dasha period is a Venus dasha period. So we want to see that Venus is strong and well placed in the house of good fortune, and it's not weak, being less than 5 degrees in adolescence, or in old age more than 25 degrees, because adolescent or elderly person cannot protect or promote or themselves or defend themselves. So Venus is very, very well placed here. And we want to check the rest of the planets. Are they strong and well placed? The majority of the planets being strong and well placed. Moon is well placed at 9 degrees in the house of wealth and status, and Mars is well placed in the 4th house of family. Retrograde doesn't really mean much in the type of astrology we're doing, only if it's functionally malefic and it's afflicting other planets by conjunction or aspect. or if it's afflicted. And so that's not the case here. In fact, Rahu and Ketu are benign. They're not afflicting. If you look at 5, 7, and 9 houses away, they are not afflicting anything or any house or any planet. And so in this case, they're benign. The other thing we want to look at is if moon is waxing, and that has some good effect as well if it's pulling away from the sun. So yeah, I think those are the main things that we wanted to look at. We can pick another muhurta. This one was to start writing a book. Again, we chose Libra. There are planets in the 6th and the 8th. The Ketu's in the 6th and Rahu's in the 8th. We couldn't find another muhurta. So it's very difficult to have a perfect chart. There's always going to be some flaws, but Rahu and Ketu are not within 5 degrees of the ascendant, and no functional malefic, which is also Rahu and Ketu, and well, it would be Mercury in this case. For a Libra, that's the only other functional malefic, and it's at 20 degrees, so it's more than 5 degrees away from the ascendant, and the ruler of the house, Venus, of the chart is strong and well placed in the 5th house. And then Jupiter for teaching or writing this book was going to be about health. So, and Jupiter is well placed in the career house. It's strong and well placed. Again, don't pay any attention to the retrograde because it's not afflicted or it's not afflicting anyone else. And retrograde just means that there's a prolonged period. And if it's afflicting someone else or it's being afflicted, then there's a prolonged period of problems or challenges. So we're not having that issue here. And then it's ruling this house of writing, so that's a good thing. The majority of the rest of the planets seem very strong and well placed, so that's all good. And then moon is, again, pulling away from the sun. It's waxing, so that's a great thing. Here's another chart. This was chosen for closing on a piece of property, a house. And so here we've picked Gemini. Again, we could not find a time when there was no planets in the 6th, 8th, or 12th house. So that was not possible at this time. And sometimes you can't pick Gemini because they'll have like a Saturn in the 6th house for a 2-year period. So, so you have to be flexible and not always get to pick a Gemini ascendant chart. But again, Rahu and Ketu are not within 5 degrees of the ascendant, so that's good. They're actually benign in this. There's no other planets that are that they're aspecting that are within 5 degrees, so no causing no issues. And there's no other functional malefics that are within 5 degrees of the ascendant. They do have here Venus is very close to the ascendant, and Mars. Now Mars is the significator for property, and also Mercury is ruling the house of property. So both are very close to the ascendant. So this is a very, very good chart. And then you want to see if moon is waxing, and it appears to be in this situation. Let's take a look at, now this muhurta is for choosing a time to start wearing a gemstone or a kavash. And here we have a Gemini chart as well. No planets in the 6th, 8th, or the 12th house. And the ascendant is at 10 degrees. So Rahu and K2 are at 28 degrees, so they're not within 5 degrees. Um, there are no other functional malefics close to the MEP, so that's good. The Sun and Jupiter in this case are very close to the MEP. Sun is within 2 degrees and Jupiter is within 3 degrees. So that's good. And the majority of the rest of the planets seem to be strong and well placed. So that's very good actually. And then the moon is also pulling away from the sun, so it's waxing. So that's good. So that's an also a very good chart. So here, and then let's see. In terms of our, we're looking at the dasha period. This was 2014, July. So yeah, we're in a Saturn period, and Saturn is strong and well placed as well. So that's good. It's exalted. So now like if you are given a time period, say from maybe the 24th to the 26th, and you use your change of time tool, and you start out maybe with the 24th. Let's go one day less. And then you use your ascendant changer and you look for a Gemini ascendant. And then you look to get all the planets in strong and well placed. And this is the way you can do it. You can use the ascendant to find a good ascendant, either Gemini, Aries, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius with 2 or 3 functional malefics. And then you adjust the time to see when the planets are close to the ascendant in degrees. And that's the way you find a really good muhurta. Here's another, let's see if we get this one. Here's another muhurta for a wedding. I think you might have looked at this one already, but again, here, Jupiter is ruling the house of relationships, and it's really close to the ascendant. It's just within a few seconds of the ascendant. So this is a very good chart. No planets in the 6th, 8th, or 12th. The functional malefics are not within 5 degrees of the ascendant. So this is at 4 degrees, and then the ascendant's at 18 degrees. It's a strong subperiod. So here the subperiod is Venus, and Venus is strong and well placed, so that's all good. Let's see here. So I think this gives us a good idea of some very good possibilities for electional astrology.